Mr. Mpeti, the leader of the PAC. Mr. Mpeti, the president spoke a lot about identifying agriculture as a key driver of job creation and the economy at large, but also spoke at length about the reopening of land claims, an issue that's been close to the PAC for a while. What's your take on how the country is moving forward in the land claims process?
I think what the president has said is what he said during the last State of the Nation address. There is no improvement. I mean, now he's saying only 1 million people should be employed by 2030, which is far, and it's a small number of people. Yet we have millions of people who are in the rural areas. And when coming to the claims, I think he did not even do half of the claims that were lodged. And now he wants to open again the claims, which I don't know where is he taking us to. He's just repeating himself. So as far as I'm concerned, I think the president is not doing well in this country.
Is there an area, though, of the president's speech where you thought he may be moving in the right direction?
I don't think the president is moving to any better direction. If you look at education, he's talking about children from 7 to 15 that should be in schools. I mean, we want free education from grade 1 up to the first degree in the universities. So in that, I don't think the president is doing well at all. That is my problem.
Mr. Mpeti, thank you very much. Let's go quickly to Lucanyo on the other side of the courtyard.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm now joined by the Chief Whip of the UDM, Mr. Ngaba Kwangwa. Sir, good evening and thanks for joining us.
Good evening and thank you very much.
Let's talk a little bit about the economy and the huge emphasis that the President put on it. I see you smiling, does that indicate a level of satisfaction?
No, not at all. In fact, I think the entire speech was an underwhelming laundry list of promises once more. Because, for example, he spoke about radical economic transformation, but in the speech itself, we didn't hear anything radical about the promises and the plans that have been put in place. It's actually same old kind of stuff that we've had in the past. But what was also important is the focus on energy. I think we must compliment and commend the president on that because it's a crisis that is also affecting the economy. But when it comes to other issues, we can't talk about radical economic transformation and trying to improve the growth performance, and then in the next sentence we talk about reviewing the minimum wage. How do we do that when, for example, you'd find employers in the business economy would complain about productivity? We need to balance it, encourage the dialogue between the social partners, and then take it from there.
All right. Youth empowerment. The president spoke a lot about that, and I know you obviously still being very young. You must be at least satisfied with the emphasis that the president put on youth empowerment.
Of course. That's correct. We're very satisfied about that. But I think we need to make sure that we put more work on these internships and make sure that people actually get practical experience that they can use elsewhere. It's no use actually taking young people into government departments if all they're going to do is to make photocopies and then after that live with certificates that they cannot use.
All right. And then just finally, you touched on energy very, very briefly. What do you make of this strong emphasis on nuclear energy?
Well, yes, it's something that we need, for example, if we were to solve some of the energy crisis that we're facing. It's good for the country, but as long as we know that we're doing it the right way, it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. No, Mr. Kwangwa, thank you very much. I am very grateful for your time. Thank you very much. Okay, I think we can now cross you back live to our colleague Asanda, who is standing by. Asanda?
Well, Lucanyo, where I'm standing right now, firstly, it's a coincidence that we're both wearing red outfits, but I'm standing with one group that's very popular right now. Mr. Julius Malema, the president spoke about investigating the option of a national minimum wage. That's an issue the EFF touched on its manifesto. What's your take on that idea now?
It's not new. He said that in the manifesto of the ANC. They said that during the campaign, they even announced that the Minister of Labour is busy investigating minimum wage. So there's nothing exciting except a blowing of hot air and repetition of the things that we have heard before, sometimes playing to the gallery and not really meaning what he's saying.
An issue that's close to the helmet you're wearing, the president spoke about implementing the mining framework that was brokered under Deputy President Mhlante, moving it to the presidency, but also monitoring the mining charter target. What's your take on that?
The president says they are going to be moving in terms of housing and the living conditions of the workers in the mining sector. But that is what the mining charter says. And the ANC people clap hands to mediocrity. He's plagiarizing the mining charter without even referring to it. That's what it says. And the mining, including government, have failed to implement what the mining charter says.
Mr. Maliba, thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you very
That's the
much.
leader of the economic freedom fighters. Let's go back to the studio.